Another great collaboration with the Great Mattsby. His handle on X is MattHughes13. He does have a course available pinned to his page if you're interested in seeing what he has to teach. Probably one of the best technical analysts out there that I've met on X. He also has a YouTube channel as well, the Great Mattsby TGM Trading. He probably can use more subscribers. He just started it not long ago. Anyway, enjoy.
Hi, hey everybody. Have Matt here again. We're going to talk about a few stocks of interest. He's got Palantir. So go ahead, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing well. How's it going?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, let's do this. So I see that you got the Gann
Okay.
angles pulled up. So go for it, man.
Yeah, so whenever I pull up a stock or a crypto or anything, I always pull it up on linear scale first, just because that makes the chart a lot more symmetrical and it makes the angles more equidistant from each other. And basically with Palantir, this is the weekly chart on linear scale, and you can see this green angle is the 45-degree angle here. And basically since the bottom, it did successfully gravitate towards it, and then it just launched off it to outer space. And basically now we're just seeing it stuck in a range, right? And I was waiting for it to maybe come back down to touch this angle again, because you can see how important that angle has been in the past right there. So possibly a few more weeks or months, it might just gravitate towards it and then finally go make new highs after that, right? But it's not really going to do much until it breaks these orange arcs and possibly could even retest this orange angle down below, right? But basically, I'm just waiting for it to consolidate a little bit more. Even though it's like been pretty volatile, it's been following a pattern very, very nicely, right?
Yeah.
And if we go into log scale here, you can kind of see it too.
Yeah.
Let's right. So the log scale version is pretty accurate as well. It never really even touched the 45 here on log scale, but it did just go up to the orange line, and that was a big resistance level for a long time, like many months, right? And it's been constantly back testing this arc, which also shows it's in a range, right? And it's not going to do much until it breaks above, let's say 2450 or higher, right? Or even maybe back above this angle as well, right?
Yeah. So on the long actually looks like it might be relatively ready because it's been touching the arc quite a few times. Like it could go back up to like
Yeah.
24, 25 range, but on the linear it's still got a little bit of room. Like what how do you kind of reconcile the discrepancy between the two?
You just look at both, but honestly, both are kind of showing the same thing. Like
Yeah.
here, the resistance maybe is like 2450 on log scale, and if you go on linear scale here, it looks like the resistance could be around 25, right? So it's almost the same, right? So
Yeah.
it doesn't really make too big of a difference, but the bottom line is it's got to get above basically $25
Yeah.
before we're going to see any a really exciting price movement.
Yeah. I guess the moral of the story here on the linear, you have the arc here as resistance, and on the log you have the yeah, you
Yeah.
basically try and bounce off the arc, but once you pass 25, like there's really a lot of room for it to go up.
Yeah, when you see on log scale, the next resistance, if you just disregard this angle here, would be the arcs above, like in 36 or maybe 41 or so, or around that area, right?
Yeah.
Depending on how quick it gets there. Nobody knows really how fast things will go, but I mean, Gann tries to match price with time sometimes, but you still just never know. You never know.
Yeah. Or even they could potentially ride the angle up and trying to push it as resistance on the way up to the arc. I guess
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
also a
So
possibility.
if it
Yeah.
did ride, yeah, if it did ride it as resistance all the way up, that would be maybe September of 2024 right there. You can see at the bottom. And that would be like $36, but we'll see. Yeah.
Hmm. It's hard, I guess there's not really any like cycles to say with stocks like this. They're just kind of, the direct offering a few years ago, but it's still so you when you do this, you tend to want to do it at the lowest point as like a major pivot to get these angles. Do you use is there
Yeah.
any possibility to use like the past price action into this into incorporate into this Gantt by any chance?
Like this price action here?
Yeah, like all that stuff over there. Would it be tough?
You can't really do it because once
Yeah,
price falls below the square,
yeah,
then it just kind of makes it irrelevant.
got it.
So you really want the future price to always be within the area of the square
Got it.
always.
And is there any
Yeah.
other
So you,
moving average or anything else you see on the cloud that's, gonna give you a little other kind of predictive things that you might be looking at? What are your expectations moving forward, things like that?
well, the cloud just gives us more resistance. You know,
Yeah,
the conversion line up
yeah,
there at around 2291.
yeah,
And so, yeah, it's just basically trying to close. I think it did close above the baseline actually, so that's fine. But
yeah.
as you can see, it's still kind of far away from the top of the cloud. So it could just drift down this arc, you know,
Hmm.
until it touches the cloud here in July and
Yeah,
then finally go up. So that's a possibility as well.
got it. So the moral of the story, pretty strong resistance, been trying to break through it for quite a few months now, still having a hard time doing it, but once we're able to do it, it can move up to the 30s in a hurry.
Yeah, once it hits the support it needs or the finds its higher low or whatever, it'll probably just go back up, and we'll probably see another big weekly candle like this or some weekly candles like that over there. You know.
Yeah, got it. What
Yeah.
what other thoughts do you have on Palantir? Just looking at the Gann, in terms of what you're seeing.
No, like besides just the Gann or the Ichimoku or anything, like market structure is amazing. Like it's never made lower low since the bottom, you know. It's just
Yeah,
consistent higher lows. So even if
yeah,
it did go back down into the 17s again, that's still another higher low,
yeah.
and it would just still be amazing. Like there's nothing bearish about this chart at all.
Yeah.
And I think just good things to come.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I think if I just look at, I generally like to look at the monthly Ichimoku cloud too, and um, it's getting me some support lines over there too. Yeah, if you look at the monthly,
Oh
actually,
yeah.
it's pretty interesting. Like you can see that the conversion line has really served as pretty decent
Oh
support
yeah.
for 2 months in a row. And it
Yeah.
just looked like it's stuck in the range. Like it looks like it's stuck in the tank or the conversion line, and that 25, the resistance level up there. So it looks like it's forming a very, very nice bull flag over here. But yeah,
Yeah. But that still could take some time to play out, you know.
yeah, I
So
can.
yeah.
But I just worry if the
So we'll see.
conversion line gets tested for so many times. We're worried that the support's not going to be as strong. But yeah, it can also go down to arc too, I guess is what you're trying to say. That's also a
Yeah,
possibility.
just
Yeah.
slowly gravitate down. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's manage our expectation until it breaks through like 25-ish.
Yeah, exactly. Just
Got it.
no rush for it, but it leaves plenty of time for buying opportunities really, if it
Yeah.
does go lower, because it's not really going to go too much lower, and if it does, like you should buy a lot.
Fair. Which is what I plan on
Yeah,
doing.
exactly. Me too. Me too.
Yeah. Great. You want to move on to another stock that, like GME, like something that other people have been wondering about in terms of
Yeah.
actually like want to know more about like if Gann can show you more things about like price target. What do you think whether or not anyway, yeah, I mean just pull it up. I'm interested in seeing what you're seeing too.
Yeah, GME. So
Yeah.
let's just turn off the Ichimoku right now. Honestly, I only use GameStop on log scale because it's
Yeah.
just such a crazy stock,
Yes, you
and
should.
I don't really mess around on linear scale with it because it doesn't really matter in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's just a meme stock. But yeah, in my YouTube short that I did, I said, yeah, you don't want to buy up here, you want to buy down
Yeah.
here, and look what happened. It hit there again,
Yeah.
and now it's like basically in that range, right?
Yeah.
But possibly we can see where the clearly defined support level is, and that's the blue arcs right here, right in
Yeah.
between. Like you can see how price just went down to the bottom, went to the
Yeah.
top, to the bottom, to the top. So I wouldn't be surprised if it did go back down to like 16,
Mhm.
or even maybe this blue horizontal line here around like
Yeah.
14 or so.
Yeah.
But so far this angle is holding nicely, and if this angle does hold, then yeah, the momentum can continue back up here. But as you can see, this blue angle has, once it got flipped to resistance, is still
Yeah.
resistance. So I don't really see that being broken anytime soon, really. So what we can see in the weeks to come, maybe price, if this holds, it could go back up to the angle up here around 66, and then maybe just gravitate up here to the next level, which would be up here at around like 313. And with Roaring Kitty, anything is possible, right?
Yeah, it's possible.
So I mean, last time it got up here, but you see it just followed the symmetry perfectly. It still was the top green arc, right? And that was basically in the 100s, but that was just a wick, and the body of the candle still closed underneath that arc. And so what we really need to see for a breakout is bodies of candles start to close above this green horizontal line here, because it's never really done. It's done that like once before, and that's it. And it's got to start doing that again. And that level is $65, $66. So basically, if this angle can hold, it's got to go up here, and then it's got to close a weekly candle at least above this line.
Yeah. I have a feeling that we probably found support where we were, because you were just showing the weekly Ichimoku cloud too. Like we basically almost bounced off of it perfectly, you know. Yeah, like
which coincided with the angle too. Yeah,
with the angle, and you also close the gap, you know, if you care about that kind of thing. But at this point, I guess the likelihood of finding support at this level, because there's like a confluence between the top of the cloud versus the bottom of the cloud. Actually, you got a lot of confluence over there too with the curvature over there. So there's like you said, there's a potential it could go down there to back test before doing anything. Interesting.
Yeah, I could see that happening. Goes back in the cloud, then maybe goes to the bottom of the cloud here around the 13s or 14s. I could see that for sure. But that would be like many weeks. That would be maybe October of 2024. But who knows? Like, it's kind of funny. Like a lot of charts are lining up with like the U.S. election. You know, like the same time how the bottom is looking like around here, like October, November. It's like the bottom of the election. So it's like, is that going to really just launch everything up into outer space after that? It's kind of an interesting coincidence, is what I've been seeing. Because the same thing with Palantir too. It's like the Palantir chart, it's the same time.
It does. I do have a little bit of a theory though, because the Chinese liquidity is coming. Like all the Chinese stocks actually look like they're pumping. I wonder whether or not that would end up translate into pumping liquidity into these things too, and they might end up just kind of pump their way up and have some positive momentum rather than going sideways. I don't know. I wonder about Tesla too. I saw your video. I wonder about that too. It's really weird. I don't know. I agree with you. But the bottom,
there's just so many confluences.
Like I said, like the bottom, it could be like the high to mid teens over here. Versus if you really talk about upside, you have to break the arch and close to the previous all-time high before going up to like 300. I guess this is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, like it's not gonna go to 300 if it can't get past 66. Like not just a wick either. It has to be like a body of a candle to close above. But the way it's looking more and more, especially with this terrible looking weekly candle, it's probably not going to go anytime soon. It'll probably just be ranging for a while, and maybe even lose this angle as support again. So I'm gonna keep an eye on this angle just to see if it does maintain or not. And if it does not maintain, then the possibility of going back to the 13s is really, really likely.
Did this candle change your moving averages to make you feel differently? That's another question I have. Because even though it's got a big nasty wick, I wonder if it caused any technical change in terms of the moving averages that you're looking at. Not really.
Well, it did. No, it did close above the 100, so that's good. But it couldn't get over the 200, my purple line here. So that's not that good. But that just proves it's in a range still. So this 100 could hold, which also coincides with this angle. And if both these things hold, then there is a possibility to go back up to 66. So that's why I'm really going to be watching this angle closely, and also this 100 MA as well.
There's a lot of confluence there. Top of the weekly cloud, the angle, and the 100. Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
Which is why I said don't buy resistance, buy
Yeah.
support. And this is exactly where it's at right now,
Yeah.
support. So I mean, it's like if somebody wants to gamble on it and take a shot, like this is where you
Yeah.
want to do it.
I did.
Right.
I
And the
bought a
angle.
share.
One share, all right.
I bought one share right there, that spot that you're talking about.
Wow. So like right at maybe 21 or so,
I
you
forgot
know?
it was like, yeah, it's like 20 point, yeah, $20 and like 30 cents or something like that. Yeah, I bought a share right there just to prove a point. So
Well, you're up like a whole dollar or something. That's really
I
good.
know after hours also went down a little bit, but I just want to prove a
Oh,
point
damn it.
because if you see a confluence of support, like that's where, if you're gonna buy it, that's where you're supposed to buy. So I ended up buying a share
Yeah.
just to prove a point.
Yeah. But like what I see with retail investors all the time, it's like they get so excited and they always buy resistance
Yeah.
and like that's what you and we always try to like help them avoid that. Like this is
Yeah.
not where you want to be buying. Like you don't want to focus on that at all. Like the same thing with Tesla or crypto or any other stock. Like
Yeah.
actually a lot of crypto is also getting into some resistance right now too, which it needs to break. But I guess we can talk about crypto another time. Yeah.
Yeah, we'd love to. But yeah, I think that's all the questions I have on GME. I think it's pretty clear in terms of what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about this mess of stock called Mara, the Bitcoin miner that has been having a lot of people frustrated over the last 4 or 5 months because everybody got
Oh, Mara.
trapped into like the whole hype, when it moved up a bunch, and then of course after it moved up a bunch, you're gonna go sideways for months. So everybody's like all freaking out and yeah.
Yeah. I get that all the time too, but it's one of my favorite miners. I don't know if you watched that video that I made. It's like
I did,
CLSK.
yeah. You compare all of them,
Yeah,
and this is actually like this. I mean, like it's behind Clean Spark, but it's yeah,
yeah, yeah, it's one of my favorites.
yeah,
Basically, this is on linear scale, so I'll start there. And we can see how all these angles really have been acting as a
yeah,
support and resistance. Like this was kind of a resistance angle, support angle, then it flipped to resistance, support angle, then resistance. And then now you can see the biggest resistance angle here is this orange angle.
yeah,
And this is probably right area where it was resistance, where retail wanted to buy. It was at
yeah,
resistance, right?
yeah,
And that's why people got upset because they were buying up here in like the high 20s or mid 20s, and now it's back down here, right?
yeah,
But honestly, this chart is looking really good because this red angle now is holding that support.
yeah,
And if we put on the Ichimoku here, you can see why it's not really going higher because of the conversion on baseline.
yeah,
It's still like closing candles underneath it.
yeah,
But I mean, it's getting pretty close to the cloud now. So
yeah,
that means maybe in June or something, it could have some momentum to finally break through to back to this orange angle.
yeah.
And this is where like I bought some like in this area down here, and I'm looking to probably take
Nice.
some profits once it gets back up into the
Yeah,
orange angle up in the high 20s or 30s or so, or
yeah.
low 30s. But
But I mean,
but
look at the angles. I like how it's going from almost every single angle line right there is like going from resistance to support. Like that's basically what it's been doing. It's climbing up
yeah,
from one
and
angle to another. So
yeah, exactly. And
yeah,
this red angle is basically confirmation is support. So if it ever got
yeah,
back down there again, I would probably buy a lot more.
yeah,
But I like how it closed the week back above the 200-week moving average there. So that's a positive development. And so that could lead to more and more momentum up. But we got to get above this gray angle, which coincides with the baseline there first.
mhm.
But my ultimate target to take some profits is going to be in the high 20s after buying down here. So yeah, it's gonna be good. I like the way this chart looks a lot.
You're not gonna take the chance that it's gonna break that yellow angle and go straight up to the one above it.
Well, I'm not gonna sell all. I'm gonna just sell a portion of it. But no, that's what it's looking like.
Yeah,
It's like it could go up.
yeah,
Like once this, because this is really strong resistance, this
yeah,
angle right here, this orange.
yeah.
So if that were to break, then yeah, it's gonna be a clear shot into like the 40s or upper 40s. But
But
let me pull up a log scale too.
yeah, if you can, yeah, the market structure just looks really strong too. It's just forming higher highs and higher lows, and looks like it's just breaking one angle to another, back test as a support. So it's yeah, and you know that Bitcoin's going higher. So
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So nothing too much to worry about here. But this is basically confirmation that support is near as well with this
Yeah.
angle, which kind of lines up with the cloud and lines up with those moving averages and everything. So that's why I was saying, like, if it ever went back down to like the 15s or 16s or something, like this is a really strong buy opportunity, because on log scale, this area up here,
Yeah.
the green horizontal line,
Yeah.
is the biggest resistance, and that's in the 50s, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, if it can ever break that other orange angle on the linear scale that I showed you on the other screen, like then then the 50s are basically the next target, and
Yeah.
that would be really strong resistance, and not sure how long that would take to break that, but definitely if it gets up there, you should be taking profits. That would be
Yeah.
my recommendation.
Fair. And also the very interesting thing, I look at an arc right there is around 40. If you pull up the monthly Ichimoku cloud, I think it might also be, you know, a little bit of resistance. I'm wondering if there's some confluence there too. Yeah, at the arc right there. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot,
Oh,
even,
like,
yeah, or yeah, like
right up
right
here.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There might be some confluence over there
Yeah.
too. I wonder if it's gonna serve as a magnet and end up being like, you know, rejection level there, at least for that
Yeah.
point of time. So, hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just added confluence that this is a massive resistance zone up here.
Yeah,
And basically, I wouldn't even, I probably wouldn't even wait to get to this green line. I'd probably wait till it gets to this arc in the low 40s there to take most of the profits.
I changed your
Yeah.
mind. Okay.
Yeah. Well, with the Ichimoku on the monthly, but honestly, you can see now on the monthly chart that didn't really close any weekly candles above
Yeah,
the arcs, really.
yeah,
So yeah, that's why it's better to just take some massive profits there, or
yeah,
sell 100%, because it'll probably retrace. It's so volatile, you know.
yeah,
It's so easy to just like take profits like 100%, and then the
yeah,
next week it'll just go back to the angle or something, and you
yeah.
can re-enter. Yeah.
What about you? What do you think about the last cycle though? I mean, it was just kind of breaking, you know, curves after curves after curves, just keeps on going up to the like 5 big giant green candles right there. You see what I'm talking about on the
Oh,
last cycle?
like
Yeah.
like
You
one,
don't think
two,
something
three,
like
four,
that's,
five.
yeah, you don't think something like that's gonna happen?
Well, it depends on what Bitcoin does, really. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
like if Bitcoin breaks into all-time highs, I think it'll go surpass like 100,000
yeah,
pretty quickly. So if that
yeah,
happens, then yeah, this will probably break this resistance as well. But in the meantime, we just got to see what Bitcoin does, because
yeah,
it's still stuck under resistance. And
yeah.
like, if you want, I can pull up the Bitcoin chart right now and show you
Yeah, yeah,
guys.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess the whole more of the story is Mara is a volatile stock, and if you're a trader, if you don't want to get hurt, you probably want to take profit maybe around 40, maybe 50, but there's a lot of confluence there, resistance. I guess that's the moral of the story. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, let me just see on Bitcoin here.
I also wonder about your thoughts on Ethereum too.
Yeah, we can talk about that. I think we got time, right?
I think so. Yeah. You're pretty efficient. You're not
Yeah.
like me. Like
Yeah. I like to, just move, because I mean, and once you look at a chart, you can tell if you like it or you don't, though, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, fair.
And so many of these charts I like, and especially Bitcoin here. I think we talked about it in the last video, but yeah, so the Bitcoin miners are probably not going to do much until this blue angle on Bitcoin gets broken, and that
Yeah.
sits exactly at 70,000 right now.
Yeah.
So once a weekly candle can start to close back above there, then honestly, there's really nothing stopping it to go to 100,000 and above, you know.
Yeah.
So that's going to be exciting. But I don't know if you watched my last Bitcoin video on YouTube that I posted or not.
175. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I watched
and
it.
you could see
Yep.
why, like, this 1.618. We talked about it in the last interview between you and
Yeah.
me. This 1.618.
Yeah.
But let me put it back to the weekly.
Yeah. Sorry, I keep messing you to the monthly. I like monthly
Yeah,
charts. But
yeah, monthly is good too, but I like to see more candles in. But
yeah.
just look how perfect this 1.618 was. You know, it's
Yeah.
just, and I did it exactly. I did the exact high and the exact low, and basically that was exactly 61,330, and it just held so amazing, which really means this is probably going to get hit, the 2.272, which is 204,000. And honestly, like if that happened, then all those Bitcoin miners are going to do very, very well. So maybe taking profits is stupid, but it's what I do. I always buy, I buy support or sell resistance no matter what,
Yeah.
no matter what the chart looks like, because it's not going to go up there in a straight line. You know, it's going to have retracements. And so even if you do take profits, you still will probably have the opportunity to buy back lower. So that's my thought process.
No, taking profits not stupid. It's never stupid. But yeah.
Yeah.
But you wonder whether or not 175K could be the resistance. Like you might not get up to 2.272. It might just end up.
Well,
yeah.
I think this green line it'll probably be resistance, but maybe it'll retrace when follow to where the moving averages are or the Ichimoku, and then probably go back up to the 2.272 or even the 2.618, right? But it's just like just looking at this fib extension, how perfect it has been the whole time. Even the 886, it hit perfectly there. It's like this is the fib extensions you want to use from this cycle because it's matching it 100%. Like every single level, it's been matching. So that really means 200,000 is most likely going to get hit this cycle at the minimum, and possibly even more. Yeah,
that's sick. That's what you're showing though. That's what you're showing though. I mean, like you're not. Yeah, it's not anything that beyond that. There's really not any like whole lot of resistance there. So that's what you're showing.
Yeah. So honestly, if it could go higher, I mean, the 3.618, it's over here at what, 2 million, 2.4 million? That's a possibility too, I guess, right? So yeah, it's just gotta fill everybody with hopium.
You'd be taking profit way before then. You'd be taking profit like right, yeah.
Well, yeah, you take profits at every level because honestly, no matter what, Bitcoin and all those miners and stuff, they're pretty much just very volatile. So you can take profits here and then buy back lower for sure, as long as you're not afraid to buy back lower. You know, because some people, like if somebody sees like a big red weekly candle or something, then they get scared and they don't buy. But that usually is just back at support. You know.
Yeah. I do wonder. I do wonder your thoughts on Ethereum too. I do wonder whether or not it's going to end up, performing equal, less, or higher based on kind of what you're seeing on the Ethereum chart.
Yeah, we can pull it up on. Let's do linear scale first. I don't think I pulled the Gann on that one, but
that's okay.
Let's go to we can do log scale. That'll work.
Okay.
But yeah, log scale has actually been really good from the bottom there back in October of 2015. This arc has been, let me just zoom in, has been resistance, and you can see it way back here at the previous all-time high, right? That was resistance, and whereas again, well, it looks like it flipped it to support, right? So now it was what was previous resistance is now flipped to support. So that means it's probably going to go back up here to the 4,000s, which is still not an all-time high, but that'll be the next resistance level, and then ultimately this will break above, and then it'll get to 6,500. And if it can ever break that, then it'll go way up here to the 40,000s and stuff. So
okay, so it depends on how much momentum you have in that resistance range between the arches and that line around 6,500. Okay.
But it's clear to me now that even though it did close like a weekly candle below, this is looking like it's flipped to support this arc, which means it's only going to go up, and the next target is like 4,000.
I find it hard to believe that Bitcoin goes up to like 175,000, that Ethereum's going to end up getting stuck at like 6,500.
So it could just break that with one giant candle and then just keep going. We'll see.
Just keep going. It's going to be in the 5 somewhere if it breaks that.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, based on the two charts, what do you like more, about each one? What do you dislike about each one? I mean,
there's really nothing I dislike. I like if they go lower so I can buy more.
Fair. But do you feel
that's what I like.
looking at the higher targets, like for example, if you look at the lock in right here, you would imagine that maybe there's like a little bit more resistance here in Ethereum. Does it make it less favorable compared to what you saw on Bitcoin? You know?
Not really, because I like how this is holding as support, right? And
Yeah,
usually if this holds as support, then maybe this next arc won't be that much resistance. So
yeah,
it'll be fine. Like honestly, I like to see things hold support, and that's more important than
got it,
any resistance up above, is
got it.
what in my thought process is.
Yeah, because you use it as a launching pad. If you're able to find some support, you can actually go up higher. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I actually like seeing things testing support. Like I'm weird. I don't like to see things just kind of go crazy. I actually like to see kind of things kind of just taking their time going up. So this is not a bad thing. And on top
Yeah,
of that,
and
yeah, there's also a lot of confluence there with the monthly Ichimoku cloud too, like around the support. I just want to show you. I know we only maybe have like a few minutes left, but it's like beautiful where things are right now. There's a lot of confluence right there. You
oh
see what I'm
yeah,
saying? Yeah,
yeah, and it's
absolutely.
matching the arc too.
It's matching the art and it back tested the
Yeah,
conversion, and it's finding
yeah.
support right there. It's like absolutely beautiful.
Yes, and this is what you want to see in a
Yeah,
good looking chart, right? So
yeah,
honestly, it's only going to go higher. Like, and if it does go back to that conversion line, which I don't think it will, but like 2,800 or so, then yeah, you should buy a lot more
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
Awesome, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you so
it's been
much for
fun.
sharing the charts. Always having a great time looking at these things with you.
Yeah, me too. Let's
Yeah.
do it again.
Yeah, let's do it again. Yeah, I'm just messing your weekly chart and changing to monthly so you forget and mess you up. But yeah.
No, it's all good. I like the monthly chart too, but sometimes I like to see more candles. That's all. I'm
Yeah.
greedy.
Yeah, no, it's good. I do have some reasons. You saying a bunch of altcoins are under resistance, but I do have some reasons to believe they're also maybe testing a lot of good support too. I guess next time we might talk about altcoins. I mean, you obviously
Yeah,
plan to. Yeah,
yeah, we can talk about a lot of altcoins, like especially Solana, because that one looks like it's ready to break out too.
it looks like it's ready to
So
run.
let's
Yeah,
plan that one
yeah. It's
for
it's
sure.
yeah. We can talk about it next time.
We'll do.
All right, man. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for dropping by. We'll try to do this again.
All right. Thanks, man. Take care.
All right, later.
Bye.
Bye.